have access this morning, we are going to go ahead and record just to let you know, and we will let you know when we stop recording.
Is their phone charger in there?
Your phone already charging.
It's 5%.
All right. So our agenda for the day is we are going to talk to you about the importance of visuals, using them in your home. It's one of the strategies that a lot of the teachers use in the classroom that can at times help with some of the behaviors that they might be seeing in the classroom. We are going to talk about how you can incorporate a schedule at your home. We have many different types of schedules that teachers use in the classroom, but there are a lot of different types of schedules that you can use in your home to help alleviate some of the unwanted behaviors when you're having things happen in your home, whether it's something routine or something new. We're also going to talk a little bit about some different rewards, consequences, and incentives and how to track that at your house. And the importance about asking specific questions about school so you can maybe see if your student is having some anxiety or to help them with some unknown things that are happening inside of the school building that you can maybe talk to them about at home.
So we're going to talk about the importance of visuals. So visuals are important because when a child is escalated, they're upset about something, they might not be able to process the words that they're hearing from our mouths and stuff. So it's important to pair a visual with our words so that they can understand what we're asking them, as well as be able to make a choice. So oftentimes we, with visual schedules at school, we have things like silent reading, and they're just little, this is an example of a visual that we use on a visual schedule at school. Sorry, it keeps getting blurred. Or social skills. And the students are able to manipulate these throughout their day so that they are able to know what's going on throughout their day to avoid feeling anxious and predict kind of what's going on. And this can also help avoid power struggles with parents because we are not using so many words that can confuse the students and maybe even confuse ourselves because we are not getting what we want from the child being escalated.
And sometimes if you feel that you are wanting your child to do something and you can probably notice that your tone can increase, you might have some nonverbal body language that can be viewed as aggressive, whether you clench your fist, if you put your hands on your waist, if you kind of make your eyebrows look like you're angry. A lot of our kiddos in school, they shut down exactly when they see that because they feel like they are being, they become into a battle and then they want to join into a power struggle. And if you have a student that has behaviors where they enjoy engaging in power struggles, which believe me, is kind of interesting. If you have that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Your child wants to engage in a power struggle. The best thing that you can do is to not use words. Don't use your words. Talk very, very low. So your child actually has to stop talking to hear you. It's okay to repeat yourself multiple times because that can be very helpful, but make it very low, almost at a whisper. So your student has to lower their volume in order to hear what you're saying. Because what they want to do is they actually want to hear what you're saying so they can respond. But what we want them to do is to stop screaming, to stop yelling, and they cannot do that if they are being loud themselves. So that's a little trick that you can do. It can be very difficult to do that when you are already angry and upset. So the best advice I can give you is if you feel that you are becoming where you want to yell because they're yelling at you, use that visual. Visuals are very easy to make at home because we have what's awesome. It's called clip art. Use a piece of clip art that looks like a bedtime, maybe a picture of a bed, and just hold it up and say bedtime. You don't need to involve any questions, comments. They don't need to say anything, and just let them know bedtime. If you're not able to do that, you can do something even better, and for any lower cognitive kiddo that maybe doesn't understand exactly what you're saying and they don't have a lot of verbal language, you can use what is called an object. And we're going to talk about that in a schedule. But if you wanted your child to go and give, maybe go and wash their hands, you can just use an object and then just hold up a bottle of soap. And so they can see that this is what you want them to do and point to the bottle of soap. What we do in the classrooms is we call that an object schedule. So they see soap and they think, oh, that means I need to go to the bathroom. I need to do this in the bathroom. So using objects instead of visuals is another way that you can help your kids with less dialogue. Sometimes less is more, especially in dialogue. So try to keep that in mind. The next thing that we're going to talk about is incorporating a schedule and why a schedule is important. In our classrooms, teachers have all sorts of visual schedules. They have all sorts of schedules with times written out. And it totally depends on your child's classroom. What we think is very important in the home is that you also carry on a schedule for your child and what they need to do when they get home. Incorporate pictures, because that's very important as well. Because sometimes a kid can see the picture and know, oh, I know I need to go pick up my toys before I need to get in the shower. Okay. It also enhances task completion. And what we have with a lot of kids that have ADD and ADHD is they start a lot of tasks for you. Maybe they started picking up their playroom, and maybe they started eating their dinner, and maybe they started their homework, but they haven't really completed anything. So they need what's called a task completion. These are one of the things that we want to offer to you if you're interested. So if you are interested in what I'm about to show you, put your child's first initial last name, like I mentioned before, and then just put the school out on the side so we can get this to you. And a task completion is a visual that is very helpful because it allows you to see when you are finished with an activity. Sorry, I'm trying to unblur my background so you can see a little better. So this right here is what this is. And it's basically just a piece of cardstock, and we folded it in half long ways. And it has the word done here with check marks. Okay, this is what it would look like when it's completely finished. This is what your child would see. And again, these are used in many classrooms in our county. And it can be very simple. Again, like Marissa mentioned, we like to pair visuals with words. So all of the visual icons that you see from us are going to have the word and the picture. And when you open it here, it's going to have what you want your child to do. This first thing that they have says take a break. We like to do breaks in school after they've had a certain amount of academic times. And then we put a timer on and say they get a break. Okay, it's kind of, think of like a mindfulness, like a mental break. When that is finished, they're going to close this right here where it says done. A lot of students with ADD and ADHD, they need to see things that are finished because they start a lot of things and they don't finish them. So these have 5 different tabs that are all completed, and you can manipulate what's inside of here depending on what pictures that you use. So for at home, we would have things like brush your teeth, take a bath, put your pajamas on, and things like that. So we would love to give you these if anyone is interested in a task analysis, and we will give a bunch of different icons that you can use. It's all Velcro. It's very easy. And what we like about these is we laminate them. So they're very easy to spray and wipe and clean off, because I know these kiddos like to put these and get them all gross. These are very easy to manipulate, and they're very easy to make. So if you go ahead and if you want one of these, go ahead and put that in the chat and we will get that to your child. Again, we want first initial, last name, and then the child's school, and we will get these in their backpack for them. Marissa's going to tell you a couple different charts that we have available. And instead of telling us the individual charts, if you just want the charts as well, first initial, last name, school, and just say that you want the charts, and we will get these to you as well in your child's book bag.
So this is an example of a chore chart. This is pretty simple. You can laminate it if you want to like reuse it each week. It looks like you can do multiple weeks on here. But But what I like at the bottom is there's a goal. So the student or your child knows what they're working for in the end, and something to motivate them, to get them to want to complete these tasks. This again, you can find a way to put pictures on it, or you can write it out depending on the cognitive level of your child. And they can use markers or fun stickers when they've completed it for that day. So like in my house, we make our beds, clean our rooms before we get to have screen time. So my daughter would have a list of her to do this week of, I'm going to put my laundry away and make my bed. And then when she gets a little sticker, then she knows she's earned her screen time. This is also good because you can personalize it for your child, again, to get them excited about it. And then once they complete it, you can talk about, okay, after you complete your chores for this week, or what you expect of them before they get a preferred activity, you can talk about what they're working for. If I do my chores all week, I can get an extra 5 minutes or 10 minutes of screen time at the end on the weekend. And this again excites them, gets them to want to do maybe those unwanted tasks because they're excited about what they're working for. In this one, it breaks it down a little bit more of like things to do for mom. Again, we can edit this to make it how your family is set up, whether your child lives with grandma, aunt, uncle, we can make it specific. Indoor chores, outdoor chores, away from the home. And again, they can identify the goal that they're working for and write in specific things. And you can also make it fun. Like if you pick up 5 sticks in the yard, then we'll put a check mark on it. That again gets them excited, making it a game, making it somewhat of a preferred activity rather than something that seems like a chore.
So if you want any of those, like I said, go ahead and put that you want the charts in here, and we will give you a couple different ones that we have. We also feel that it's important to have what's called task lists. If you, we have a lot of our kiddos in the schools that do not handle receiving multiple directions. I don't know if you have this at home. So for instance, if you tell a child to go take a bath and they come back, or they're in the bath and you're like, have you washed your hair? You're not even undressed yet. You haven't even started the water. A lot of our kiddos struggle with multiple steps in a row because their brain is telling them I need to take a bath, but they forget multiple steps that are important to do so. Brushing teeth can be a problem. They brush their teeth, they come back out to show you, and you're like, did you even use toothpaste? And they're like, oh my goodness, I forgot. And you're thinking, how do you forget to use toothpaste? It's a simple task, brushing your teeth. So a task list is something where you write, you can use it here, where you would actually write the steps of doing something. So think of a child that really needs help with do this and come back and tell me. Put your clothes in the laundry hamper, come back and tell me you're done. Go heat up your dinner, come back and tell me you're done. Empty the dishwasher. It's very helpful to create lists that break things down into smaller parts. We do that with our kiddos when we give them classwork. We can't just give a worksheet or an assignment to a student and expect all students to be able to understand the different components that go in that. So we have to break it into smaller parts. Sometimes that might mean for you in the home that you're going to need to break it down and then give them a break. That's where these charts come in, because you would have them do an event like empty the dishwasher and then give them a break. A break doesn't always have to be a reward like, you know, go ahead and play 5 minutes in your room, or, you know, go ahead and use your tablet for 10 minutes and then I'll give you something else to do. It's really just giving the brain time to decompress and not have to think of what I need to do at this very moment. And that can be very helpful to not be engaging in power struggles, because a lot of students that have lots of lists and chores and things to do, their brain can be overstimulated. And I promise you, if you give a little bit of breaks and put things in between it, you actually might get a better product at the end. But schedules are important because it helps reduce anxiety in the unknown. In a classroom, if you don't know that there's going to be a fire drill, which the student never knows, that's when you see kids struggle the most. They forget the expectations of a school where you're not screaming. They forget to line up. It becomes very chaotic. And it's very simple. And the reason is because it's not on their schedule, and that's not normally something that they do. So if you're quick to go, oh, we got to go to Walmart, and you get them in the car and they're just chaotic in the car and they're chaotic in Walmart and they're not following your directions, but you go to Walmart all the time, it's because what you put into their schedule, they were not ready for it. And that's what you're going to see: a lot of animosity, a lot of anxiety. So schedules can help reduce that, especially if you're talking about things that are coming up. Hey, don't forget at 9 o'clock when you go to bed, we're going to set the alarm. It's kind of like having an alarm when you wake up. You don't know what's happening, even though you said it, right? Because you're in a deep sleep and the alarm goes off. I don't know anyone that gets up and is very happy when their alarm goes off. Definitely not me. And I think, that is because our body is not ready for it. So we want, instead of making an alarm for all of our children when things are changing, we want ahead of time for them to know, something joyful. Talk about it, talk about the expectations. Hey, we're about to take a 2-hour car ride. What did you experience last time you were in a 2-hour car ride? You were bored. Do you get car sick? Do you need something to keep you entertained? Talk about the things that happened before to reduce some of the anxiety and probably issues that you are having in certain situations. And schedules are great because they help with independence. They increase the ability for your child to do things by themselves and maybe be a little bit proactive and take a little bit of initiative and get ready for something. So we really enjoy visual schedules, object schedules, or just talking about things that are happening ahead of time with pictures. If your kids can tell time, go ahead and put the time that something's going to happen. These are great. You can take a dry erase marker if you're like, I don't have time for pictures. I've got a 2-year-old that's going to rip that down. Use a dry erase marker and write on your refrigerator. I know that sounds crazy, but most of that stuff wipes off. Take a dry erase marker and put that on the refrigerator. If you have little magnets on your refrigerator, maybe you have number magnets, those are a great idea as well, to put on a refrigerator and just let them know, hey, that 9 o'clock, that's your bedtime. So they see that. And keep pointing to it and keep talking about it to reduce that anxiety. We also, if you're interested in some rewards, we have some different rewards. If you want the rewards pack that we're offering, go ahead and put in the chat the name of your child, and you want the rewards pack. These are kind of neat. They're punch cards. We like to give these out for the teachers at school because the kids feel cool that they get to hang on to them. It's kind of like they have their own debit card. Punch cards are great. They're easy and they're very cheap. You can use a piece of paper, and we just use a hole punch. You can also use a marker and cross them off because, believe me, they're going to work for what's going on with these punch cards. What I like about these is they're blank on the back. Right on the back, the reward that they get when they fill up this punch card. Maybe this punch card means that for 5 days in a row, your child completed the bath and they did everything they were supposed to do, and they completed the bath, and at the back of 5, they get something. And after 10, they get something else. And these are easy to reuse. And if you want the rewards pack, we'll put this in there.
This one is fun. It's kind of like a treasure map. Like once your child has completed or earned a sticker, they get to put it on here and follow the path. And when the path is filled up, they again can get some kind of reward. This is also blank on the back, and you can write the reward they're working for. I know oftentimes people typically use sticker charts from like your potty training or something like that, but these can be used as well. So like just getting them to do all the steps when they're brushing their teeth. Like my kids, every morning you have to put on lotion, put on Vaseline, get dressed. Like my daughter, we had to go through the steps every single morning. And without fail, we always forget a step, but she's getting better because we're using that repetition, and she knows, she's very proud of herself when she remembers all the steps. And so this has helped her get excited about wanting to make sure she's following that task list and then getting a reward for making sure she's following through with everything. And then these are other types of rewards. that we have that we can, again, send out to your kids. I mean, who doesn't like a certificate? Like, we complete a course at work, with school, college, like we all are excited about certificates. My daughter, she got Student of the Month years ago, and that certificate is still up on the fridge because she is very proud of it. If we ever try to take it down, she feels some kind of way. So these are great ways to get your kids excited about wanting to work for something. They will, and if they have a favorite character, they love Mickey Mouse. This again will be really exciting to them. They'll want to put it on the fridge. They'll want to show it to the people that are their trusted adults. And you can, you know, this is for Marissa for taking a shower every day and following all the steps. And then you can have them sign it. It's just a really fun way to show them that you are proud of them for following through with the things that you've asked them to do.
So all of those come in the reward bundle. So it, like I said, if you want those, go ahead and say reward bundle and we will get you some of those out. We'll give everyone a sticker chart that Marissa explained. We'll make sure you have enough stickers to fill it. And we'll give you a couple of different, like she said, of these to give to your child whenever you feel that's important. So, and just see how that works for you. Something that we want to talk about is about bribing. It's very easy when a child gets dysregulated when we throw out bribes, and sometimes we don't realize that we're doing it. But when you say, if you will just go take a shower, I will let you have dessert. That is a bribe. We don't want that to happen. We want to use transition words like first and then. First, take a shower, then you get your dessert. You don't have to have a lot of words. You don't have to gauge in anything more than that. If you want to get your student to follow 1-step, 2-step directions, when you have something that's unwanted, like taking a shower or bathing, and it's followed by something that they want to do, we notice that they're going to go as quick as they can, not do a very good job, or not even do the unwanted, like take a shower, just so they can get what they want to do. Use words like first, then. It helps them with transition. And what's going to be important is that you're following through for them with that. So if they do take a shower and they're following the steps, make sure they're getting rewarded with the dessert, if that would be the then part. We encourage our teachers to use first, then all the time. We really don't want to put bribes out there because they're only doing it for the reward. And what we want them to do is understand how to follow different steps. So when your child is in a meltdown, what you want to do is you want to ask for compliance. And that can be very difficult because what you really want them to do is what you asked them to do before they started melting down. And the key to that is wait time. So let's say your child, you need them to turn off the TV. And because you want them to come to the dinner table, it's time for dinner. And they just throw a meltdown. They're throwing toys everywhere. They're screaming at you. They might say some colorful words. And you are just telling them, come to the dinner table, it's time for dinner. So the best way to handle situations and meltdowns like that is ask for compliance. Turn off the TV. Say nothing else. Turn off the TV. Don't keep going and saying, now you got to pick up your toys. Then I need you to come to dinner. You want them to be compliance 1 step at a time. Once they have done all the steps that you need them to do to come to dinner, before you give them whatever reward that you are going to give them, you want to have them experience some type of wait time. And that's going to depend on the individuality of your child. If you have a lower cognitive functioning child, your reward's going to need to be delivered maybe a minute or two after they have completed the task that they're doing. But if you have a child that continuously throws tantrums and cognitively understands what is going on during that tantrum, you're going to want to experience a larger wait time. So you're not rewarding them right after the tantrum. Because what that is doing is that is teaching your child, I just had a tantrum. That got me what I wanted. You want to give them wait time. I would say on an elementary school child, 2 or 3 minutes can seem like a long time. So I would say 2 or 3 minutes would be the amount of time I would want to put when the tantrum stopped to when you gave them a reward or consequence. If you are giving them less time and you're rewarding them instantly, you have to think about it. You are rewarding them for the tantrum that they just gave you. Okay. And talk to them in a cool, calm manner when they are done with their tantrum and say kind things like, thank you for picking up your toys. Thank you for waiting. Here is your reward. Let them know next time, once you pick up your toys, you will get your reward quicker. Explain them to that so they see that the wait time is less. Sometimes if you are going to give them a consequence, just the lack of a reward can be a consequence. Instead of saying, you're not getting a dessert and now you don't get to watch TV, the lack of getting something is the same thing as a consequence. Instead, you're just going to go straight up to bed. You're not going to get the reward that you normally get. You know what is rewarding to your child. You know what your child likes. Is it screen time? Is it sweets at night before they go to bed? Is it time with you? Or is it just time alone from you, maybe, that they don't have to feel like you're asking them to do things? Figure out what your child likes and what your child wants, and figure out the tiered approach for them. For instance, if a child is picking up toys and that is a bare minimum that you ask them to do, you don't want to give them some large, huge reward for doing something like that. You want to tier it and see how important is that to you, and offer them a small reward compared to something that you really want them to do. Like, I really just want you to get your clothes out and ready for tomorrow. And that is more important to you than for them to pick up their toys. Offer a larger reward, because that they see that incentive is larger, and they're going to be more willing to get that activity done and out of the way for you. That also helps teach compliance with your child. And this is the last thing that we're going to talk about before we are taking any questions. And that is about how different ways that you can ask your child, how was their day?
So this is something that I have had to really retrain my brain when I'm asking my kids about their day, because I'll just pick them up from school or daycare and I'm like, hey, how was your day? And they'll just say, good. And I'm like, okay, well, what was good about your day? And sometimes even that is still not specific enough for them. So I will ask them, what did you have for lunch today? What did you do in math? Or what did you do in reading? And this will then help them. It facilitates the conversation and gets them talking about specific things. So that way I know what might be hard for them in school, what they may be struggling with, that there's certain things that maybe they aren't happy about. It helps me know what they're feeling and how I can help them process those feelings. Like, my son went on his first field trip today. He's in pre-K. And so we talked about all week, okay, 2 more days till you go on your field trip, 1 more day. And then this morning we're like, okay, you're going to ride a bus for the first time ever. This is how it's going to work. This is how you're going to sit. That way we were able to eliminate some of that anxiety that he may have been feeling as he prepares for this field trip that he has. We can also talk to them about like what may happen if they do X. So like, we're asking them best and worst case scenarios. If you lie to your teacher, what do you think is going to be a consequence for that? Or what do you think might happen? And so that kind of dialogue has really helped my daughter. She's in 3rd grade, kind of figure out what may be a result of her actions and how her actions may affect other people. And it's really helped her as well as identify her feelings. Like, if somebody does this to you, how would that make you feel? So it's also helped her in a way not do those things to other people, like saying unkind things or teasing people at school. So another bullet point on it.
So we are going to stop sharing the screen, and we want to be available for questions. So we want to be able to answer any questions, whether you have a question about anything specific that we showed you, if you want some more details about that, or if you have something specific that's maybe happening at home or maybe something related to school, we would love to help you talk through it and be able to see if we can offer any suggestions. Let me just be straightforward. Behavior always gets worse before it gets better. And when you start putting in different things like schedules or rewards and consequences, just keep in mind that it is going to take a while for your child to, first of all, be able to process what's going on, things that are happening, the differences and changes, because when you put a schedule in, that also underlyingly gives them expectations of what they need to do. And maybe they got away with some things before. So you're going to have to get past a little bit of the growing pains for that. And my best advice is to stick with it. Now, I only have an 8-month-old, so I've been sticking with it for 8 months. So I've gone at least that far, but I'm sure everyone in here has someone older than an 8-month-old. So keep sticking with it and knowing that the schedules can be a lot. You might have to rearrange how you come in during the day to make sure the schedule is on time, but stick to certain things so they feel like when you are saying this is what's happening, that is what's happening. So we're going to go ahead and bring up the chat. And if there is any questions in the chat, we will answer them. And if there is anything that question-wise, if you guys want to go ahead and unmute and ask us questions, we will go ahead and do that. We are going to stop recording. That way there is no confidentiality recorded when anyone else views this. So I am stopping the recording.